we're just beginning the assembly to the march here, really. As you can see, it's very, very packed. This is just near Waterloo, and it was really, really packed. I think parts of the march have probably already started off by then. And we were held there waiting for over an hour. I mean, now here we're kind of on our way quite a way through here, and you'll see there's a bit more space. We've managed to get some space, yeah, but this is constantly kind of like concertinaing, and it's absolutely enormous. This goes on for a really long time, and there's a whole load of people behind us, and a whole load of people have already gone on ahead of us, of course. So you can see some of how big this is here, though you can't get any real idea of how massive it is just from this picture. We're basically on our way to Westminster Bridge, which will be the place where we would cross the Thames. That was the plan. That would be the place where we cross the Thames and go on to Whitehall for the main event. Now, at this point, we have actually been turned back because Westminster Bridge was closed. So we were turned back at that point. That's why this is so spaced out here. Essentially, people are just making their way to the next bridge. So of course it all starts to diffuse and spread out as people are all just streaming towards the next bridge. Meanwhile, the rest of the march was still behind us and is still heading for Westminster Bridge. We'll then have to turn around, essentially, because there has to be some way of the thing getting ordered, I guess, really. But that's where we are here. You can see that we're approaching the London Eye, and everyone's heading for the next bridge, which would be the one at Embankment, basically. So off we go. We'll be going down the South Bank, and so everyone is streaming down that way, and that's why it's so sort of like spaced out at this point. I mean, in spite of the frustration of having the bridge blocked, everyone is very cheerful and everyone is just making their way. Now, at this point, we've gone on to the bridge at Embankment, and that also has now been closed. So then we've gone down to Waterloo Bridge, and this is where we're crossing here. Again, this is why this is so diffuse. This isn't the march. This is people who have been turned back from the march because of the blocked bridges, and they're making their way, however they can, across the Thames, so they can try and find their way, basically, to the event. Here, we're just going down the Strand. We obviously got up to the other side of Waterloo Bridge. What we should have done really is go down the embankment, which I think some people did. Go down the embankment and up, well, go down to the embankment and walk along to Westminster. I just followed people, and a lot of us went down to Trafalgar Square, basically, where of course we were blocked. Really, sort of, when you look back on it, I mean, the entire thing had a lot of blocks put on it, really. Sadiq Khan denied us both Trafalgar Square and Parliament Square for the event, which would have provided a much bigger reservoir, and much bigger and much more open reservoir for people to come to and to fill us adjoining streets and things like this, so that it would have been far more manageable. But that was denied by Sadiq Khan, unsurprisingly, really, considering who Sadiq Khan was. I think this was all basically because they wanted to try and block things, really. They wanted to give us as much obstruction as they could and try and prevent this, really. Here we're approaching Trafalgar Square now. And Trafalgar Square was really filling up with people. It was really very crowded. Very peaceful, but very crowded, and you can see there's lots of police vans from lots of different police forces, and there's a lot of police in full riot gear as well. Which, well, I wonder if they do that for the free plasticine movements and all of the environmental type people. The atmosphere was really rather festive. It was peaceful, it was good-natured, it was quite festive, really. People were making the most of it to have a pleasant time. People going off and getting a coffee and bringing it back, and just having a day out, basically, at this point, in this part here. We couldn't get to the main event easily. You could look down Whitehall, and you could see the place where the stage was set up, because there was a kind of like some sort of like a barrier across the road there, and just in front of that there was a big crowd of people. Well, not a big crowd, but a crowd of people, and they were waving various flags, including Palestinian flags, so I would take it that these were the leftist protesters. It was actually a small section of the road, a really small section of the road. And in front of them was lines of police. I can't remember if they were in riot gear across that bit yet or not. I think they were later on, certainly. There was a lot of police in riot gear. Lots of very happy scenes around Nelson's column, and some good placards as well. But as I said, people were in a festive mood. There was no aggression that I saw towards the police. Yeah. Oh, and here we see the police in riot gear about to sort of like go dashing around the corner to do whatever it was they were planning on doing. To be truthful, there's not much doubt, really, and we know this anyway, that the police probably were given orders to be intimidating and to see if they could provoke something. That's how I would imagine. Yeah. But there you go. I saw no trouble at all. There was no aggression against police, as you would often find quite routinely at leftist demonstrations. There was no aggression or antagonism towards the police. Just nothing that I saw. Just nothing. Despite them looking like this, yeah, there was nothing. Because people are sensible. That was our day out. Hello, everybody. Well, I got home up a little while ago. It was a massive march, a really, really massive march. and everything I saw was peaceful, yeah. And I left at about 4:30 p.m. Yeah. Um, we had, I mean, from the beginning, there was things which were sort of like seemed to be all seemed to be blocked. You know, Blackfriars Station was closed, so we had to go to Cannon Street, cross the river, across the Millennium Bridge, walk up. Um, there was a very big delay starting the march, but that's probably because there was just so many people. Yeah. Um, and then, we went on our way and up to Westminster Bridge, and then they closed the bridge. So they actually closed the route. So then we were turned back, or at least a section of us was turned back. That was from that point, and then we made our way to Embankment Bridge, the bridge at Embankment, yeah, and that one was then closed as well. So then we made our way to Waterloo Bridge, yeah, and that was open, yeah. Now, I mean, uh, I should have made my way along the embankment, but I followed people, and we just all ended up sort of like going up to the Strand, and then we went down to Trafalgar Square. Masses and masses and masses of people in Trafalgar Square, and of course at that point it was blocked. Yeah, there was just police cordons everywhere, lots and lots of police vans, lots of riot police in full riot gear. I wonder if they do that for the free plasticine marches, eh? And um, and if you look down, you could look down Whitehall past the police kind of blockade, and you see there was a little block of lefty protesters there, which they'd put and installed just behind what looked to be the kind of stage area, or the area that was kind of like blocked off for the stage area. Anyway, by the time I kind of went and got a cup of coffee then, um, and then walked down the embankment. By the time I got down to Westminster, it was about it was gone 4 o'clock, and it started to pour with rain, and I was pretty tired by then. So I thought, well, okay, kind of done my bit to an extent anyway, and I thought, well, I will catch up with the speeches later on, but it was a massive event, and in spite of the barriers placed in its way, which, well, you can make up your own mind about that, but given that we have a truly foul mayor in Sadiq Khan, who actually is, of course, in charge of policing in some sense, we'd already been denied using both Trafalgar Square and Parliament Square, which for reasons which made no sense. But hey, isn't that a surprise? Then we have all the closures. Then we have the bridge closes in the middle of it. Yeah, I think it's fairly clear to me anyway. It seems most likely that this was simply a decision to try and derail the march and the celebration as much as they could, because I think they feel threatened. Which is to say, the government feels threatened, the establishment feels threatened. All our lovely little Fabians feel threatened, and so I think they did whatever they could to try and derail it. Be prepared now for reports in the media, reports in the news, which downplay the numbers, yeah, and which also will try to present this as being far right, and some sort of like a, threatened neo-fascist rally or something, yeah? Be prepared for that, and also be prepared for them to actually make out that there was a whole load of troublemakers. I saw none. I left at 4:30. There I had seen not one single bit of trouble. And believe me, these were massive crowds. We had been waiting a long time. People were very good-natured. People were very friendly, very good-natured. Yeah. and you know, I saw no trouble at all. So, but be prepared. Be prepared. There's going to be misrepresentation. There's going to be slurs. They will downplay the numbers, and they will try to present us as troublemakers and us as far right. It's rubbish, yeah. But be prepared for it, because obviously it's going to be coming. Because things are getting big now. Things are getting big, and people are understanding and realizing exactly who our rulers are and what they think of us, and they understand the sort of regime we've lived under without it really being made apparent to us a great deal in the past. But people are understanding and realizing now, and that's very threatening to them, because things had to remain subconscious for them to be effective. And that time is over now. So, well done, folks. Well done.